Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast. An hour later than scheduled. I do apologise. I was on another channel with Daniel doing the exact same thing, basically doing a preview on his channel, and we got it chatting afterwards, and it overlaps. So yeah, that's why we're late. So yeah, Liverpool preview. I'm joined by Sam. How you doing, Sam?
I'm all right, mate. How you doing? Better late than ever, as they say. But all good things come to those who wait. That's what they say. So
exactly.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. Thanks for having me as usual.
Yeah. I mean, I've got 7 likes already, but we've even gone live, so I'll take it as a plus. I don't care who does the like, even if I don't get on with them. But anyway, that's another matter. That's another
discussion, isn't it?
Yeah, a whole different discussion. Big up Melina and the Merseyside Rambler in the chat as well.
Hey, big up, Melina and John.
So yeah, tomorrow Liverpool home. We've just had a North London derby defeat. How are you feeling going into that game?
Yeah, I mean, I know we're sort of all down and a bit, to say, down in the humdrums after all the what's been going on around the North London derby. It certainly didn't go as we hoped. But I think against Liverpool, I think we will see something different. I think because first of all, I hope we want to prove something now after the North London derby, that we actually want to show that we can play good and against top teams, that we're motivated to actually to play well. And second of all, I think it's a very good opportunity for us, probably the best opportunity in a long, long time to beat Liverpool, because they're mentally away. They're mentally on holiday, right? I mean, we've seen it now. We've seen it now with so many of their games since the restart. They've been very up and down. They've had a couple of decent games and a couple of terrible games. And against Burnley, they had like 100 chances and couldn't really put them away. And I mean, on the one hand, they're creating chances, which of course is something you don't want to see happen. But on the second hand, they're not mentally there, so they're not putting them away. And a lot of the players are underperforming at the moment because basically they've got nothing to play for apart from pride. And listen, all the Liverpool supporters are saying the same thing. They couldn't care less, because they've won everything. There's nothing else to play for. They're not really worried about those records. They're going to beat that one of the records anyway. I can't remember which one it is. They're going to beat anyway.
They're going for the 100-point record, but if they have, that thing is, they have to win tomorrow to keep that going. If they draw or obviously lose, that's.
So we'll see. So we'll see if they're motivated by that record. Then basically, if not, which I don't think they are. I don't think they're really worried about it. Then it means if we show up tomorrow, we put in our 100%, 110%. And we're at home as well. I know there's no fans. I know all of that as well. But normally we do quite well at the Emirates against Liverpool. We normally give them more of a game than we do away. That's for sure. I think all these factors, you look at them all together, them mentally not being there, us wanting to prove something after the North London derby. I think we've got our best chance in a long time of beating Liverpool. And I hope and think we will beat them tomorrow.
Do you think Arteta will use this as well, sort of a motivation to certain players? It'll obviously make changes, as we hope, with certain players we'll get into later. But in terms of motivation, do you think he'll use the FA Cup on Saturday as a motivation? Like you're playing for your spot, basically? And if so, would that give him a kick up the arse, certain players?
I hope so. I hope he does that. I mean, and yes, that should motivate players, certainly. I hope he uses all those strategies there for players to want to win their place in the team. Definitely. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he's a good motivator, Arteta. No judge, win yet, Chad. This is not a Liverpool fan coming in and piping in.
Never say never.
But, the thing is, we can play well on the day. We've seen it now in a couple of games with our new formation, which I think we look a lot better. We play a lot better with the new formation. We actually create some chances. We look a bit better in defence. Listen, we're overall we're more solid in defence. We're not letting teams come at us as much and create as much as before. But unfortunately, with the Kolasinacs and the Luizes and the Mustafis, we are going to be seeing mistakes, unfortunately, and that's what's going to hurt us is when or if those mistakes are going to be coming from these certain individuals, because unfortunately it was individual mistakes in defence that let us down, in these games we've had. So, of course, we've had our chances at the other end with Lacazette and Aubameyang, but it's those individual mistakes at the back that's hurt us, and that's where we're hurting. And Arteta, unfortunately, can't really do much about that. Yes, I think we have improved, as in you can see structurally, and the way we work together is better than under Emery, and that's showing in the statistics as well with this formation that we're defensively more solid. But there's only so much you can coach, as a team, and in training sessions you can't stop players from brain farting. Basically, those players who are able to have a brain fart now and again, the Luizes, Mustafis and Kolasinacs, they're going to have a brain fart, and the only way we're going to improve is by getting rid of them, basically, and bringing in players who don't brain fart. It's really quite as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, we've touched on obviously defensive errors from the weekend. Do you think the main culprit, as in, because he obviously didn't get back into the game, Kolasinac, do you think he'll start? I personally think he should be dropped.
I would like to see Holding brought in now, to be honest. I would like,
That's what I was saying on Daniel's channel. Drop Kolasinac, put Holding in.
Yeah.
Cedric, I'll start Cedric as well. But yeah, Kolasinac been the main culprit, has to be dropped. You can't reward him with another appearance straight after the errors he made.
I agree completely, and this is where we're going to see what Arteta's made of, because, I mean, I'm really struggling. If Arteta gives Kolasinac another go, I mean, I'm really struggling to see why. I mean, yes, I can see why he sort of fits into that formation better there, being a left wing back and, suiting that left role, really. But the problem is he's been underperforming and he hasn't really been delivering the goods. So, you can't reward, these poor performances with continued performances. We've got someone like Holding who, come on, I mean, for me, he's been playing well since the restart. It's taken him a couple of games to get back into it. He's been away and injured and everything. It's taken him a little while to get back into it. But when he had a couple of games in a row, he started to look pretty solid. And I think he was getting back into his rhythm, and I think we should be giving him a start ahead of Kolasinac for sure. I would love to see that, and then Tierney out wide as the wing back. And I would like to see Cedric back in. I mean, Bellerin was the one big criticism everyone had in his starting lineup against Spurs. I think he went for the experience, and that Bellerin, he does know what it means in a North London derby, but I don't know whether that was his thinking behind it. But Cedric is certainly in that 10 minutes he had where he scored on it with his left foot on his debut, and then that full game he had afterwards, where he basically showed you in that game that he's doing a better job than Bellerin. He looks better going forward. He looks more, composed in defence. I would start Cedric. I would really be surprised, negatively surprised, if Cedric doesn't start tomorrow. I'd love to see him get a go. And when it comes to other changes, I'd like to maybe see. I'd like to see. I mean, if we're going to give Pepe another chance on the right, then I'd like to see Aubameyang in the middle and Saka then out left. Use Saka out left and drop Lacazette to the bench again. That's another change I'd like to see. We'll see how it goes. But for me, definitely Kolasinac shouldn't be given another game.
No, definitely. Please. If he starts, I've got to lose all hope in us getting the result tomorrow. Because I'm going into it, even though we have lost an North London derby, because if we didn't have the FA Cup semi-final in coming ahead, I would be less optimistic that we get a result. Because, as I said earlier, Arteta can use tomorrow as an incentive. Like none of you that I'm picking now, or the ones that come on later on, you ain't guaranteed a spot for Saturday, so you're fighting for your spot. Even Aubameyang, the likes of them, you're fighting for your place, so to speak. And again, that could be the kick up the arse they need, because if he then follows through with it, again, that's like, oh, okay, this isn't an Emery, this isn't a Wenger. This guy does mean business. He does mean what he says. Because I think for so long, this sort of players, the majority of them have had that a soft nature to this club, where it may have been said behind the scenes that they're fighting for their spot, but no, not really, because the performances aren't meriting their starts. I mean, Ozil this evening, when I was on Daniel's channel, put out a tweet saying, "Ready for tomorrow, yeah, Gunners Yard, M10 and all that malarkey." And he's been, in terms of putting tweets out there before a match, he hasn't done that since like the second or third game since the restart. He's been very quiet recently, days before the game, and all of a sudden he's put that, and that's got me. I don't want Arteta going back on his thing now and they're trying to fit Mesut into the fold as well now, and change his formation again to fit Mesut, because then that's not, again, time and time again since Arteta's come in, Mesut hasn't consistently, by the way, guys, put them performances in that Arteta demands. It's all well and good being technically gifted, most technically gifted player we've got, but if he's not putting in the shift and putting in the performances to merit, then rightly so he should be playing. If he backs down tomorrow and he obviously starts or comes off the bench, that's then everything he's done since the restart, Arteta, in terms of I start not playing him, goes out the window, because then you've got to bring Guendouzi back then at some point.
Well, the thing is, I think we're reading a bit too much into these tweets. I mean, I think he's just he's an Arsenal player trying to be a professional. Tweets out because it's his whole PR thing. He wants to remind people he's there probably and back the team up, look professional. He's backing up the team, backing up the club. Doesn't want people to forget he's there. I don't think it has any meaning on his status in that, because what I read, I think it was the last couple of days, was that Arteta has said, I don't know whether it was a pre-match or a post-match interview, but he said that the status with Ozil hasn't changed. He's not. He doesn't feel any different about Ozil. So I can't see him. It would make if Arteta put Ozil into the team tomorrow, into the starting lineup. Okay, one thing is the bench. Okay, maybe the bench. Maybe
bench you can sort of understand. Just being him on the bench.
We can bring him on later on in the game if we need to, or whatever. Just to bring him on. But I mean, to start the game, we'd have to change the formation around again to suit his role, because he can't be in that where both of the central midfielders are sort of like lying a deeper role. The Ceballos and Xhaka thing is working quite well. So Ozil's not going to fit into that unless he changes formation. So if Arteta actually changes formation tomorrow to accommodate Ozil, then I'm going to say it right now. Then I'm going to start losing faith in the guy. I'm going to really start losing faith in the guy, because it's absolutely idiotic, fucking brain farts like that don't make any sense whatsoever. None whatsoever. So I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen at all. But you brought it up, so I was going to answer.
No, it's just if he was to start tomorrow. So again, it's like history repeating, because obviously Emery did that thing where
makes no sense.
He gave him a chance.
It makes no sense.
But with Emery, he gave him a chance. It didn't work, so he dropped him. He dropped him. He's not part of his plans, and then he buckled down to the fans' pressure and brought him in. And then that was the downfall of his own. That was near the end of his downfall, but that really rammed it home that he lost control.
Yeah, and I think it shows.
If Arteta would do that early on now, unless they're trying to keep his value up, I don't know. I personally think he's gone in there. I think coming into the season, be it after the Watford game or if we get to the cup final, after the cup final game, give it a 3-4 day rest from that. We'll get news that they've done what they did to Mkhitaryan and terminate his contract.
They'll listen. I think Ozil's finished. I think that's been. If Arteta wanted Ozil as part of his plans going forward, I think we would already have seen him. So he can't be. It would make no sense for him to all of a sudden come back into the fold now, because actually what we're doing now, I think yesterday was. I mean, sorry, not yesterday. The game against Spurs was a little bit of a blip, really. I mean, it was a fact. It was a mixture of Mourinho doing one over on tactically, and also our players, not doing the job properly, switching off a bit, especially on the corner and the Kolasinac brain fart. We had enough chances to win that game. So, that's something we should have done. So for me, we still played quite well, and it's not enough to go away from the progress we've been making. Listen, this formation we have now, this like hybrid 3-4-3 formation, interchanging formation, it's working well. I think we're playing well with it. With Xhaka and Ceballos, they're doing quite well in that deep line role in midfield. With Ceballos gets more of an attacking role and more of a link up role with the attack, and it's working well. With the coverage on the wings, Martini and Cedric, going forwards and in defence. So I don't think he's going to change it. I think he's found a formation that's working at the moment for this team, and it would make literally no sense for him to change that now. He's going to build on it, and hopefully we're going to get better with it, and hopefully we're going to get better as a team with it. And then, so listen, Ozil's got nothing to do with that anymore. He can't do. And it looks like Guendouzi's gone as well, because Guendouzi's been left out now. It looks like he can't. He's not part of his plans now. He's not part of his plans now either, because I think he looks at Guendouzi and says, "Sorry, you're not the right kind. You're not the right type of mentality. You're not the right type of character.
Yeah,
you're not the right type of character I want in the Arsenal squad. Sorry, he's too
unpredictable,
too unpredictable, and too, he's always." He's probably, you could just see he's always hot-headed, saying stuff he shouldn't be saying, and riling up feathers where he shouldn't be riling up feathers, and all that. So I think he's a disturbance to the squad, and Arteta doesn't want him to be there. So Guendouzi's going to be going as well. So but I think we're going to see the same formation and very close to the same lineup. But I hope there's a couple of obvious changes.
Yeah, I was just going to the chat quickly. Big up Daniel in the chat. Obviously, on the screen
big up everyone in the chat. Yeah,
go over to. I was on his channel earlier. Go over and check that out after we watch this. After you've watched this, go and check his channel out. Subscribe to his channel if you haven't already, and leave a like and all that. Also, Cheddar is asking who's on the watch along tomorrow, so I'll hit on that now. We've got obviously myself, Daniel, Sam, Kevin. I'm trying to think now. Kenny Ken's. I'm waiting for him to fully confirm, but he's all but on. He's just got to fully confirm that. Richard. I've then also got him debuting onto the channel as well. He's on YouTube as well, so get his channel up so I get it, say it right. Load it up. But yeah, Albert J from Albert JTV. If you haven't already, go subscribe to his channel. But he'll be on tomorrow, and also Liverpool fan Jonathan will be on the watch along. So pretty much the full lot, pretty much the full slot's almost done basically. So it's going to be a massive turnout. But this way, too many voices going on and off, and the little Liverpool fan in the background going, "Hi."
Oh Jesus Christ! Like we had Liam on. It was all.
The fact that
he was the one ended up cheering, wasn't it? Bloody hell, God.
But thinking about it, the fact that he was on it was 4-on-1, 4 Arsenal fans on one. It was always going to turn out. And if you think about it, it's always going to turn out that Tottenham fucking won.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Also, GDU Naughty Gaming saying Mourinho to Arsenal might as well.
No. Come on.
Hell no. Hell would have to freeze over.
Come on. He's not our type of manager.
And then Cheddar's is obviously, again, just now putting the chat. Ozil is refusing to leave. Arteta knows there's a transfer window coming up and he's trying to force him out. And I think, I do believe that he won't be in the squad at all. He definitely won't be in the lineup starting 11 tomorrow. Definitely, 100%. He is. I think Arteta has got the backbone to stand his ground. He stood his ground on Guendouzi, so why wouldn't you stand? He stood his ground so far on Ozil. It'd be stupid, it'd be naive and stupid to back down now, especially when you're trying to force someone out. Because if you're in backlaps, then you've lost your leverage.
Do you reckon he'll go? Do you reckon he'll go in the summer? Do you reckon we'll be able to get rid of him in the summer, or do you reckon he's going to stay till his contract runs out?
If he tries digging his heels in, I think the club will just do what they did with Henrik a couple of weeks ago, and just terminate his contract. pay the rest of his contract up and out him that way. Because
Yeah.
I can't see the club wanting and Arteta wanting a player on the books with such high wages when they're not contributing to the cause.
Yeah. Because I can just see Ozil just digging his heels in and saying, "Listen, I'm not going anywhere." You know.
Well, you're on $350K a week. Who would?
Yeah. Why would he? Of course not. Why would he?
I mean, Shedder's saying you're tuning into us. That's great, and also do spread it around as well, Shed. Because I will be about 10 in the morning setting the actual stream up for in the evening. So yeah, as soon as it comes up for you, obviously get notifications on, spread it around, get everyone literally ready to watch it with us. Going to be one hell of a either whatever happens, it's going to be one hell of a show tomorrow. Russ at Morgan saying, whilst we are paying all that money, he has no incentive to leave, which is what we've just said. So I think they're just going to do what they do in Henrik and terminate, pay up his contract and rip it up in front of him. That's the only way we're getting him out, I think. Because I don't see the club wanting, and also Arteta wanting someone, as I just said, on that sort of wage, just playing Fortnite for the next 9 months.
And also, you've got to look at what teams are going to come in from. I mean, I know there's been talk about him going back to Turkey, but those clubs, Fenerbahce, which is the favourite, they just can't get anywhere near that kind of money, can they? No. So we have to pay a lot of his wages back to go through.
There was rumours, and it's rumours by the way, guys, just rumours because it's paper talk, that thinking it's fair battery are trying to get a fundraiser between them and their fans to raise the funds to afford his wages. Because it's that high, and I'm not going to acknowledge the situation that has been mentioned in the chat already because it's not the time or the place, and it's just not the time and the place, and it's not for me to get involved in. It's been people have had their opinions. He's come out and given his actual reasons behind what he actually said, and it wasn't racist. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's nothing to do with me. If you've got a problem, you've got a problem. That's it. Take it on the chin and walk on. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing anyone else can do. If you believe he's racist, it's up to you. But for me, I know the person off camera, and he hasn't got a racist bone in his body. It's just bad. It's just what he said was bad timing, but in the sense of what person the player that was coming off and all that, and it just but it wasn't. I just don't want to get into it because it's not worth it's not worth all the aggro. If that means if that means I lose a sub or get dislike, I'm sorry. I can't. This ain't the show where I should have to defend or give my opinion on something like that. This is the Liverpool preview, and let's leave it at that. But let's go into your predicted lineup now for tomorrow. Do you think there'll be any changes, and if so, who? We'll start with the goalkeeper and go through.
Well,
obviously, I think we know the goalkeeper will be.
The goalkeeper is going to be Martinez, isn't it? I think we're going to pretty much see the same lineup. To be honest, I think, but I'm hoping Holding's going to come in for Kolasinac. I'm hoping Cedric's coming in for Bellerin.
Mm-hmm.
I hope to see those two changes. Again, I looked at the team news. There's nothing new there in terms of injuries or injury worries or anything like that. So it looks like we've still got the same, team to choose from. But we don't know where there might be some issues there with, worrying a bit about, something, a niggle here or niggle there. So we don't know exactly all the inside information. But yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't rest because there's this whole conversation about resting players for the Manchester City FA Cup game, the semi-final. I personally wouldn't rest players because winning against Liverpool, not only would it mean a lot to us, but it also gives us still a very good chance of qualifying for the Europa League. And that is our goal at the moment, is the Europa League, which gives us European football, gives us a bit of money that we need. And it gives us a chance again next season in the Europa League to qualify for the Champions League by winning that. If that's the route that I think that's pretty much the route we're going to have to go, because I don't think there's any chance of us getting into the top 4 the way that's going to be looking. But so I think it's important for us to field the strongest team we can tomorrow to be able to do that. So I think we will. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of changes to rest players or anything like that. So as I said, I think we're going to see pretty much the same formation, but I'm hoping Kolasinac loses his spot to Holding, and I'm hoping Bellerin loses his spot to Cedric. I'd like to see Cedric get a new chance.
Yeah. Would you change anything in the front? Would you change any of the front three?
If it was me, I think Arteta personally is going to go for the same front three. But if it was me, I would personally like to change. I would take Pepe off, and I'd try maybe even try Reece Nelson down the right, maybe. Quite a bit, not quite so sure about that, but what I'll do is, not take Pepe off. What I'll do then, probably what I'll do is I'll take Lacazette off, because I'd like to see Aubameyang down the middle, then with Pepe out right, and because I think Pepe works better with Cedric. You see, that's why I don't mind Pepe getting a new chance again with Cedric helping him. Cedric, that support, that overlapping. And then I'd like to see Aubameyang in the middle, and I'd like to see Saka out left. Saka working together with Tierney, I think, could work really well. And that combination up front, Pepe right, Aubameyang in the middle, Saka left, we haven't seen that yet. And I'd really love to see that, because we've seen so many times now Aubameyang. We saw it again several times against Spurs. Out left, he's just not. He's not as good out left. When he gets the ball in deeper positions or out wide, he's lost. He can't cross the ball. He only passes the ball. He can make a couple of decent passes, but he's not creative out there. He's best at the end of crosses, so he should be in the middle, towing the line at the front, getting at the end of crosses. That's where he's best for me. And if I was in charge tomorrow, that's what I would do.
Well, exactly, and that's what I'll do as well. The thing is, it's better. I think Bellerin fucks everything up. But assuming Kolasinac isn't playing, definitely not playing because of his error and all that. With Bellerin, if he was to start, that fucks up everything on that side of the pitch, because he doesn't do what. Yeah,
and if Pepe starts there, Pepe's not going to do fuck all either. If Pepe's there.
And that's the thing with either Ainsley Maitland-Niles or Cedric playing right back instead of wing back, when you called it. They will do what Arteta wants them to do, which then helps out Pepe, and you're getting more out of Pepe for that. Otherwise, Hector just literally fucks that entire right hand side up if he plays. In my opinion,
he's not as active in attack as he should be. He's not helping. He doesn't work that well with Pepe. There's no they don't have that
chemistry.
Chemistry, cooperation there.
There's been a few score predictions in the chat as well, so I'll get into them. Liam's saying 2-1 to the Arsenal.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cheddar's is going for a 3-1 Liverpool win.
Yeah.
Jonathan's going for a 3-2 Liverpool win.
Or is it a 3-2 Arsenal win, John? What it was? Is it 3-2 Arsenal?
3-2 Arsenal, this one's saying. Of all profile pictures and all names you've chose for your channel or whatever, it's really...
It's a bit tasteless, isn't it, really?
That's asking for trouble.
Yeah, a bit tasteless.
Hence why I've only said the scoreline. And then Russ Morgan afterwards, he's saying the Europa League is an unwanted necessity.
Unfortunately, it is. We need it for the money, and also it's a backdoor into the Champions League, isn't it? If we can win it.
Daniel's just putting this in the chat. What have Ozil and an Essex girl got in common? When you're trying to get them out of the club, they both take their heels in.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Daniel. It's a good one, mate.
Oh my days.
So score predictions then. We're going for that?
Yeah, I'll go for that before we get on to because I do want to get on touch on the Man City situation actually while we got you as well, because that was. But yeah, score predictions wise, I'm going for a 2-1 Arsenal win.
2-1 Arsenal win. Yeah,
I think because of the FA Cup semi-final, I think as I said earlier, I'll use that as motivation. And also, if we do get the result, be it a draw or more importantly a win, then the players they're boosted, and then they go out and they can go out with a bit of a confidence boost going into Saturday.
Yeah.
As long as the actual fans leave players and managers alone in their cars in the process in the next few days, unlike today. I'm not asking for too much. Just don't go up to their cars and give them abuse.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, for me, I was thinking 3-0 to Arsenal, because I was thinking tomorrow's a real chance if Liverpool are not there, not 100%, and we're really up for it, and we actually put away a few chances tomorrow, which we, all of a sudden we could do, or Aubameyang or whoever, all of a sudden could start actually doing something. I reckon. I was initially thinking a 3-0, but then when you think about it, Liverpool are Liverpool. They've still got the quality. They've still got the Salahs, the Manes.
Bobby Firmino.
I know Firmino doesn't really score, but he's really good at creating goals.
You also said that they'll score.
He'll probably score now. The guy hardly ever scores goals, but he'll probably score tomorrow for them somehow. But yeah, no, they've got Salah. They got Salah. They got Mane. They've got midfielders who can get a goal or two as well. They got Van Dijk. I mean, look at the way we defended that corner. I mean, Van Dijk on corners is always dangerous. So So I'm thinking they'll probably score a goal, because our defence is probably not going to be good enough to keep Liverpool from scoring tomorrow. But at the same time, due to them, or what I said previously, I'm thinking we should win the game, and so I'm going to change my 3-0. I'm going to change to a 2-1. I think we'll win 2-1.
Again, I'll take that all day long. And again, because I've got the incentive of the FA Cup, that incentive to get the result, I think that'll just push us over the line. And again, we need that confidence boost, because if we go in with another defeat, then literally we're going to get battered on Saturday. Then,
yeah, it's not going to be good for us, is it?
Whereas if we go in with on the back of a win against the best team in the country, i.e. Europe, then there's that bit of hope. There is a chance we can pull off a shocker there as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, talking of Man City,
right?
They got away with it. Bastard, literally.
Yep.
But they got the ban off. They got the fine though, but reduced from 27 to 10 mil. But apparently they're still innocent now. Apparently. Because you ask any Man City fan, every Man City fan I've seen, or even Pep Guardiola himself and the club, told you we were innocent. And Pep's gone out today demanding Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, etc. Everyone that came out when it all went off, doubting him, to publicly make an apology to him and the club.
A bit salty, isn't it, that Pep Guardiola? There's a bit of a salty.
My thing is, and I'll see, because Terry of the Football Terrence actually pointed out as well. If you're innocent, like completely innocent, why have they fined you? You don't get fined for not you don't get fined 10 million full stop for not cooperating.
Nah. What it means is
you might get fined, but a few thousand or something, not 10 million.
Now, what it means is they've been found guilty, right? But their punishment has been changed. That's what it essentially boils down to. Is instead of getting that ban as well as that very, I wouldn't say a high level fine. Other than 27 million is nothing for them.
Honestly, yeah.
That's just pocket changes behind the sofa for them. And that's been reduced to 10 million. Basically, it means they've got the fine like a slave. It's just what it is. It's ended up being from a half decent actual punishment. It's turned into a slap on the wrist. That's what it's turned into. It's like, okay, here's your we're going to give you a 10 million fine just so we say you're actually guilty, but you're not going to get much of a punishment because we don't really think it's worth it. So you're only going to get the 10 million fine. You're not going to get everything else. So they get off with the slap on the wrist, which is an absolute absolute fucking joke. It's an absolute travesty. It spits everyone in the face who actually tries to do things properly, and it just makes a complete mockery of FFP, a complete mockery.
Well, yeah, as of yesterday, that died yesterday properly, literally 100%. That's the third time it's come up, FFP-wise. They've punished them and then gone back on themselves and lost the...
Well, you see, this is what I find amazing. I'm going to try and explain this in a way that's not so complicated, but the way this is quite amazing is, and I mean amazing in a negative way, this is negatively fascinating, is because basically what it shows is when they create these rules and regulations and everything, right, which they do, I think they do with good intention, but what they don't take into account is how the actual legal sort of, the legal, the legal implications that's behind everything that you can do to defend yourself. Because what they've obviously done here is they've obviously used the letter of the law every way they can, with probably the best lawyers you can buy, to go out and win this appeal. And what it goes to show you is that the actual letter of the laws can be interpreted in such a way where you can get away with virtually anything. It makes financial fair play virtually impossible to enforce because the laws are there to keep them from being punished. And that to me is the travesty behind it all, is because they have these intentions and they can say, okay, we're going to fine you, we're going to do this, we're going to give you this initial ban. But then when they appeal, they're going to win on appeal with all the, the legality and everything, all the legal intricacies behind it. And then they win the appeal, and then it makes the whole thing useless. It's like all that the laws and the regulations and everything in place for financial fair play, don't outweigh or sort of counteract the way you can defend yourself. And to me, that's where everything falls down.
Yeah, and it's just, and I always said if it whilst this pill was ongoing, I said if they got completely off, which they basically have, apart from a slap on the wrist, it'll fine. That then goes to the rest of all the smaller clubs that have been, as you said, even us, that we've staying cronky, want to do the things the right way and abide by the rules. Well, hang on, we've done all this, we've done the fair play side of it. They haven't. They've cheated to multiple league titles, multiple entries into the Champions League, and they haven't been punished for it. What's stopping us now? Because all you're going to do is go to us, and we're going to appeal it and get away with it.
I saw Pep in an interview say, and it's actually quite interesting what he said, because basically his defence was, listen, we're doing the same as everyone else. We're doing the same as everyone else, and we're being caught. That's what he's saying. So, he might have a point. I'm not saying Arsenal's doing it, but he's saying a lot of clubs are doing the same thing, cooking the books, putting money into different areas to comply with financial fair play. The actual figures they hand over every year, to and all the financial, reporting and everything is where a lot of it actually gets cooked and changed and moved around without it be that, it's illegal basically what a lot goes on behind the scenes is. And he's basically saying, listen, we're doing the same as loads of other clubs. We're doing the same as loads of other clubs. Loads of other clubs, according to him, have done the same thing, but they're not getting caught for it. So, you've got to look at that aspect as well.
So then, and in that instance, I'm like, well, why are you now demanding an apology then? Because if you're saying it in such a way, which is basically admitting, we are doing it, but we're not the only ones. Don't apology.
Because I think he's feeling he's the one. They've been made. He thinks they've been made a scapegoat, and he's been made a scapegoat. And him, because his ego, he's got this ego where the clubs have been made a scapegoat, so he feels he's being made a scapegoat. That he's being made an example of, so that now there's been overturned. He wants everyone to to apologise for basically making him a scapegoat. I think that's what it is.
But even then, I'll be like, no, because it basically still been found out as cheats.
Yeah, of course, they've still been fined. They've still been fined. They got a slap on the wrist,
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting if the FA, if the FA do anything. I don't think they will, because again, money talks.
There's no one more gutless than the FA. Look at their history; they're gutless.
And again, that'll just go to the rest of the Premier League and go, okay, then and they'll do open season and actually just do what they want.
Yeah.
And go, well, can't
It's
have
like I
that.
said,
Man City got away with it, and they won
like I
titles.
said, it's like I said, it's because the FA have also shown that they don't care about smaller clubs. They haven't put the money in to save smaller clubs, and the way the money's been distributed has been unfair for decades. They don't care about the small clubs. So I basically said, the other, when this came through on Monday, I said, why don't we just drop financial fair play and just leave it open?
Go back
just
to
leave it as
an
open season.
Yeah, go back
as
to
an open season, and it's basically okay. You get hold. You get hold. Leave it as a free for all. Whoever gets the most dirty Middle East money wins.
Literally,
that's the way it works. Because at the end of the day, it still has to. At the end of the day, 11 players on that football pitch still have to do their job. So you can potentially, on paper, buy the 11 best football players. But we've seen it with Real Madrid. We've seen it with Manchester City. We've seen it with Barcelona. We've seen it with many other clubs. You're not guaranteed success just because you've got the 11 best players. No. There is more behind it than that.
I think, as you said, go back to how it used to be and have teams build success. But
I'll do if I can. My proposal was to look to America. Look to America. What I would do is I'd say, okay, the clubs can bring in all the money they want, but what we're going to start doing now is, because it's getting ridiculous for fans as well. Listen, fans are footing wage bills now, right? Unless you can get these multi-billionaires to foot the wage bills themselves, which they're not going to want to do, it's going to go through the fans' pockets, right? So the prices are just going to keep increasing, while the wages increase as well. So what you've got to do, you've got to put a cap on it. You've got to say, okay, we're going to put say 200K per week salary cap. And then what you do, which is really interesting, like they do in America, you've got a squad of 25, right? That's your registered playing squad, is 25 players. Now you've got a set wage bill. You've got a wage bill cap. You've got a salary cap, not just on the highest amount you can pay per player, per one player, but you've got a salary cap for the whole squad. So you decide then how you disperse that money within that squad. And that then becomes interesting and fair, because then you're on a level playing field. You put everyone on a level playing field.
Yeah, and I was trying to say they do that over here in the rugby union as well, in rugby league. But I watch rugby union more so. And Saracens, I don't know if you heard, they tried to bend the rules and find legal ways of getting around the rules. They got caught out.
I didn't see that.
No, they got caught out this season. It all came out. They've been trying to, because obviously in rugby you have, as you said, a salary cap. You've got your squad of players. Here's a set wage, but a set amount of wages you can use. That's it. They try finding loopholes and signing, not just signing players, but keeping players on and within their contracts. It all came out, and basically after the investigation, they were automatically relegated. No matter what happened in terms of winning, they're relegated, and they got what was it, £11 million fine. But there was a consequence. They haven't backed down. There's a consequence to the action straight away. Did a proper investigation, looked into it, found they were guilty, bang. And Saracens at the time.
You've got to have the nuts to do that. You've got to have the nuts to do that. And the FA don't, and there's the FUA for it, or them they don't.
And Saracens are, at this moment in time, the equivalent of what Man City were in terms of success. But they're literally constantly winning the rugby premiership over here. And they'd won like 3 out of the last 4 European titles.
Yeah.
So in rugby, there is that, no matter how big or small you are, there's a consequence to your action. Whereas in football, it's literally, well, actually, if you're small, we'll punish you. But if you're big, if you've got money, we'll grease our palms.
But rugby seems to, this is another thing I found fascinating with rugby as well, and you see this reported as well, is rugby players, they seem to have a lot more respect for the game, more respect for each other, and they have more respect for the referee.
Yeah.
How often do you see a rugby player dissent? Say effing and blinding to the referee. You hardly ever see that.
No, and also in rugby, as you said about the dissent, it's literally, if there's an issue, the referee, who's like big by the way compared to the rugby players, calls the 2 captains over, and that's it. And all the players, the other players, don't go. They all stand back. They let the respective captains deal with the situation.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And these guys that are brutes are like, yep, okay, sure. I'll tell him he's in the morning.
There's a lot more respect. There's a lot more respect. They don't crowd the referee like they do, football, and that crowd the referee. And there's so much more respect in the game, and I like that. And that's something football players should take heed to. And just to follow up, and I see Cheddars is talking about, talking about you've got a salary cap, then players are going to go where there isn't a salary cap. Well, as I'm saying, this is something UEFA would have to bring in throughout all of Europe.
Yeah.
All the major nations would have to have a salary cap to make it fair. So you don't have one country that gets to do what they want. You're going to have to do that for all the countries that take part in the UEFA. So it would have to be fair for everyone.
I think it also needs to change, not just UEFA, but in the FA as well is the rights and means of ownership. Basically, if you're fit and proper conduct, that's it. Because we're currently in a situation where Newcastle could be owned by another Saudi
Arabian royal family. Yeah, one of the royal families. Yeah,
who have so we say tasty history. So we say with certain subjects.
So yes, just look at the human rights issues and all that.
How they
but you know what that family's reportedly worth?
10 times what Man City's lot are.
Kroenke's about 8 billion, right? And I think Abramovich is about 9 or 10 or something like that. And I think what the Mansour family, the Qataris, were they like 40, 50 billion or something like that?
Something like that, but yeah,
something like that. But this royal family, they're 240 billion.
Yeah. Imagine competing against that. And that's what I'm saying, because of everything they believe in, so we say. That surely doesn't, in normal circumstances, wouldn't fit in proper conduct, because there's a controversy there.
And this Mansour group, this Qatari group, they're doing all they can to stop the Newcastle buyout as well. They're putting in all the stops, protests, and everything legal. All the legal.
Ben Sport have even said don't sell to them because they're this, they're that.
That's part of it. That's behind it. It's in the Qatari thing as well. So they're doing all they can to stop it because they know if they get in, then they're going to be big. They're going to be the big dogs. And they don't want that.
Yeah, I just don't think it's it's bad enough Roman came in when he did and bought Chelsea and did what he did there, but then
basically overnight.
Yeah, literally. Got in, acted straight away.
Remember City as well, like that. That little shitty. I mean, sorry. I mean, they're the shitty club in Manchester. I mean, United are always miles better than them. And all of a sudden, they got Robinho and all that lot. It was fucking mental, wasn't it?
No,
and Robinho. And I bet you Robinho has never heard of Manchester City before.
No, he thought
he's like Manchester City. Who's that?
He even came out and said at the time he thought he'd signed for Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I mean, they almost got, I think before they signed, the 6 months before they signed Robinho, they're in for Kaká. That would be the first major signing after the new ownership.
Yeah, I think they tried for Kaká. Yeah, that was a big thing.
And he said it was all but done, but they just didn't believe in themselves that they could get it over the line and all that. And he just like, nope, that's not for me. He obviously went back to AC in the end. But it's I was saying it's bad enough that obviously Roman came in, one man. With all these millions, but then 4 years later, for a consortium and a country to come in and buy Man City effectively and blow everyone out the water.
Yeah,
I mean, how can you compare? I mean, Liverpool have with the right ways and means have got caught up, but to make it a proper title race and have like 3 or 4 teams, how are we meant to keep up with that? On a consistent basis wise.
No, you've got to level the playing field, haven't you?
As you've said, every 3 years teams go through that transition period, and obviously Liverpool come up for that next season. City are going through that now, so City are already a season ahead, so to speak, because they've already started that.
Well, the thing is, if you got all that more money than everyone else, you're always going to be taking from the top shelf
Of course.
right? Because even with the FFP, self-sustaining and all this, if you've got the most valuable players, right, and you're not letting them run their contracts down, then you should be recuperating your money through selling those players and buying new ones.
Yeah.
And if you're buying and selling at that level up there, you should always have the best squad, right? And that should always keep you at the top. And that's what happens. If you're buying and selling down here, you're not going to be at the same level unless you can do what Leicester did, Sheffield United have done, Wolves have done, where you can you're so good at finding players who can work together and you mold them together through tactics and coaching. That's the only way around it, is to find all those so-called diamonds in the rough, and get hold of them. If you can do that, then that's great. But that is really hard. That is basically the hardest thing you can do in football, right? Is find a diamond in the rough, because you're basically buying someone you have no idea how they're going to work out. You got to give them a couple of seasons to see.
Yeah, exactly.
What happens,
And that's what makes Ferguson and Wenger at their best so good, because they didn't have at the time the financial they had to build squads. Every time they'd go for transitions, they'd have to start from scratch, so to speak. But they had to work hard for it, where it's just given on the plate now. It's just so frustrating. And to see that them squads previous don't get the credit they deserve, because now you've got all this money. Yeah. They put the pedestal that they have set is suddenly well and truly overachieved, because you've got money now just going bang, 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 bang. We'll just buy it all, cheat or whatever we want to do, and get away with
everyone. Yeah. And you know what? I think it also gives me so much more respect now in hindsight. Of course, hindsight's always 20/20, right? It's always easy to look back at things. But I really do now. At the time, I laughed when Wenger said fourth is a trophy. Everyone laughed.
Yeah, in the media as well.
And the media laughed. Everyone laughed because, what's he talking about? Fourth is a trophy. That's just, come on, But you look at it now. You look at how teams have come on now. How much more competitive that top 10 is now in the Premier League. The top half of the Premier League now is so competitive, up to that top 4.
And 3 years ago, it's 4.
And 3 years ago it was 3 years ago it was 4. Before then it was just 2 or 3. So now it's getting more and more competitive, basically, for those top 6, 7, 8 spots. And and you can actually now understand what Wenger was saying, that fourth to get into the Champions League now, and all that gives you through the money, extra sponsorship, access to better players, blah blah blah. Etc. All that domino effect that comes with that. Fourth, you can actually sort of appreciate that. Of course, he didn't mean it literally. That it's a trophy. It was a metaphor, but even metaphorically, yes, getting that fourth spot is like a trophy. It means so much, and we're so far from it, aren't we? We were so. It's another saying that's so true. You don't know what you have until it's gone, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what you've got until it's gone, and we were so. We were so happy and basically we didn't really see what we had. We were so used to having that fourth spot or the third spot or getting into the Champions League every year. We got to the Champions League, it was 18 years in a row or something like that, wasn't it?
20 years. 20 years on a spin, and then we obviously dropped out in the 21st.
I think it was 20. Yeah, 20. Yeah, so 20 years in a row, we got into the Champions League, and we were so used to that. We didn't, when Wenger was talking about fourth as a trophy, we just laughed or whatever, But now we see how valuable that is and how difficult that is. And it's like I said, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. Now how much would we love a top 4 spot back now? We would love that, wouldn't we?
I'd give my right hand for one.
Exactly.
For one season, bloody hell. I mean, just before we wrap up, do you think, worst case scenario, if we were not to be in the Europa League spot via the league and we didn't win the FA Cup, would a year out of Europe be such a bad thing for just one season?
I don't think it would be such a bad thing for one season, but we've got to be very careful, because if we do have that season without Europe, we've got to make sure we're really focusing on the league, and we've got to really perform in the league. We've got to really make the most of it. We've got to really make the most of it, because if we don't, if that one season becomes 2 seasons, becomes 3 seasons, then all of a sudden we're a mediocre. Then all of a sudden we're a mediocre club, but that's not where we should be,
Yeah,
So
suddenly we're turning to Leeds United / Newcastle because
exactly, I think that one season, if we can have one season to recuperate, get our
rebuild
squad
that way.
together, rebuild, recuperate, build the teamwork, build the tactics, get in there and really focus on the league. We've only got that one game a week to really focus on. I think that could be good for us, but the peril is there where if we don't get that at least Europa League or Champions League spot, then all of a sudden, if we keep dropping off, we're going to keep. That's going to keep happening.
That's one main concern. As you said, if it becomes 2 seasons, 3 seasons, then it's like, okay, yeah, we're shit.
Then you're a mid-table club, aren't you?
All of a sudden, we are that, and then we have to accept it for what it is, and then in that time frame, in that same time frame, stop praying that someone actually, the South African guy or someone comes in and actually buys the club.
How long is Kroenke gonna put up with losing money?
Well, according to the guy that in South Africa that wants to buy Arsenal outright and be the new owner and all that, he wants to do that next year. So what? Potentially, we could have another 6 to 12 months before we can see him come in and take over.
To be honest, I think he's talking out his arse. To be honest, he's talking out his arse.
I'll take anyone, but I'll take anyone. Let's be honest.
That's the problem. We'll take anyone. Yeah. What did you guys see? Flamini did he? He's got 16 billion.
Yeah, it's grown. It's constantly grown because he's business. Constantly, you won't lose money because he's constantly.
Flamini's an ex-Arsenal player. He knows what Arsenal's about. I mean,
exactly.
But I just want someone. I want someone who. I mean, my dream buyer would be. I don't really care what their background is or where they come from, but I want someone who actually knows a little bit about football. They don't necessarily have to have come from a football background, but at least they know what football is and what it's about. Because these Kroenkes, they've got no fucking clue. Honestly, they really don't. I just want someone who at least knows what football is. That's all I want.
Exactly. Is that so hard to ask for? Really?
Exactly. Someone who knows that when they put a team in place to handle the club, the Sinellis, supposed to be managing the club, doing the recruitment, doing the buy-in and everything. They put the club in their hands. We should be able to recognise. I don't think this is going very well. Yeah. I know how football works. I know we should be doing better. We're Arsenal, blah blah blah. Yeah. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go out and get the best recruitment team there is. We'll go out and put the money on the table and go and get them, and we'll put together a management team and a recruitment team that I know is going to bring success.
And that's the thing. I think that's what Raul and Vinay, in particular, out of the 3, sort of bank on, that Josh and Stan don't have a clue.
No, they just let them. I know. I've been seeing these reports about this that Josh is very hands off. Josh just lets them do what they want, and basically he's just writing off on the money. He's just saying, yeah, okay, you want to use this, you want to do that, fine. He's just basically approving the funds, but the actual day-to-day running of the club is done by Raul and Edu and that I can't remember that Indian guy.
Vinay.
Vinay. Yeah. That it's being run by them, and Josh is just basically hands off, just like, okay, sure. He's looking at the reports and saying, okay, everything looks okay, but he's not hands on. He's not there looking over their shoulder saying, "Why, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this?"
Yeah, because as you said, he's not a footballing man.
He's got no clue about it. He's not got no clue about it, and he's spending most of his time in America anyway. He is in London sometimes doing things in meetings with Arsenal and stuff like that, but a lot of his time he's away. He's in America.
Yeah. And that's it's just. I mean, as I said, is it too much to ask for someone that actually owns the club, that actually not only knows football but cares?
Yeah, exactly.
And again, this
cares, would like us to be at the top. That's it.
Yeah.
Someone who wants us to be at the top, who has the ambition to say, "Listen, we're going to put some money into this, and we're going to drive towards the top." Yeah. Yeah.
And as I said before, I think I think Edu does care because obviously being the Arsenal connection, but
is he good enough? We don't
know. With the right team around him, we don't. Unless we get the right people next to him and around him, fuck no.
Because his experience so far is very limited. I mean,
Brazil, yeah.
he worked with the Brazilian national
My main,
team.
yeah, my main concerns are Vino and Raul, that they abuse that fact of they know the two above them don't have a clue about football, and they
Yeah, I think
abuse it.
I thought they're resting on their laurels a bit, knowing that they can sort of do what they like. You
Yeah,
know, they've got the reins and they can do what they like. But at the same time, you know, they've got to deliver. I'm sure they've got to deliver, and that's what's going to be that's going to be interesting now to see. That's what I'm saying now. This after this season, if we finish ninth or eighth, you know, we're not getting Europa League football. You know, someone somewhere has got to see that this is not where Arsenal should be, and that's why I think what happens this summer is got to be probably one of the most important summers in Arsenal's history for a long time, because they have to show this summer that they want Arsenal to succeed, and the only way we're going to be succeeding is by selling off a lot of the deadwood to generate funds. Because I know the pandemic has had some consequences. So, you know, we are going to have to generate a lot of our own funds, which we can do by selling a lot of the deadwood. But then we are going to have to put some money into the club, because, like I've explained many times before, I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through it again.
yeah.
But there are points when your funds, what you're generating is so low, you have to put some of your money in to get where you want to go. And that is where Arsenal is at the moment. We're at this level now, at this stage where we need the owners to actually put some money in and step up and get us to where we want to be able to buy these 3-4 players we need. And now we'll see if their ambition is there. If they're not putting any money in, then that's it. That's it for me. That I'm done. I'm done with them. I'm done with them, because they're showing so clearly this summer they've got no ambition for this club. They're just in it just for the share, not the shares. They don't have shares, but just for the value of the club. And it's a business. It's a write-off. It's somewhere for them to invest money, and that's it. There's no ambition.
Yeah, and that's what me and Richard got in conversation with in my North London Derby review on Sunday. The exact same conversation down to a T, and basically how this window is going to be so crucial in knowing if the board, like the Vowels and all that, do give a crap, and if they are backing Arteta or not, and if they don't, they go to the little black book again. It's going to be a long time before we're competitive again under that lot.
Exactly. So this summer is so crucial and so telling. It's going to be so telling this summer.
Yeah. I think the only hope I'm holding out is that the fact is last summer, if you think over the last 12 months, the club itself have addressed the back line in a sense of we've got a new left back in Kieran Tierney last year. Cedric's coming, Pablo Mari. Saliba obviously we signed him, but obviously don't. But he's coming back. So that itself is that back four wise, there's a whole new back four. So they do see there's issues, but it's just getting at the dead wood now. Stop giving the dead wood new contracts.
And that's what we need to generate money. We need to generate money by getting rid of the dead wood, because that's going to generate some money. But then that's not going to be enough, right? So that's where we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see the Cronkies put some money in.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, especially after what's happened.
Yeah.
With this global pandemic.
Yeah, because the values have gone down now, right? So we're not going to get the same amount of money as we would be getting for these players. You know.
So it's all well and good Stan dipping into his pocket to pay off. Was it two bonds to our debt?
Yeah, it's paid off some of the debts for the stadium, which is good. It frees up a lot of that debt.
It's still got,
so we don't have to. But it's still not. It's still not going into the squad. It's still not.
And that's what I'm saying. He's now got to then do that, dip into the squad itself, and actually help invest. And this has always been my gripe as a so-called businessman. Surely, the more successful you are of owning something, the more successful that thing is, the more money you're then generating and making back. But hey, I'm not a businessman apparently. But anyway, we'll wrap things up now. Obviously, we've both gone for 2-1 wins. Liverpool tomorrow. Watch along on this channel with.
That'll be fun.
With yourself, Dan, and the guys.
There's going to be a lot of people on, isn't there? It's going to be a big crowd on here, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's try and get the full slots all filled up. Have me and 10 other people here. That'd be something. That'd be a first. Yeah. Right, just before we go, if I do my thing, right, Russ Morgan in the chat, Raul having a black book of contacts is fine as long as the players fit the system the manager wants to play. I
Well,
get what he's saying. But
yeah, but I would say to that, what we're talking about is Arteta. If he says, "I want Upamecano," and Raul says, "Well, you can't have Upamecano because I want to use this agent and that agent to get that guy. I want to get whoever, some other guy who's okay, he could be a good defender, but he's not who Arteta wants." That's the whole point. We want Arteta back, that he gets the players he wants, not what Raul says. Listen, I can get this guy instead. He's good, but can we? We'll have him instead. That's what we don't want to see. We want Arteta to get the players he wants. That's what we mean.
Yeah, exactly. And if that's the case, use Black Book all to your heart's content. But if he isn't, he's just doing it for his own means, and that's when it gets messy. And we have another Unai situation, which I don't want because that's too much mess. And last message on the chat, Ralph, I've been looking for an Arsenal podcast for ages. Finally found a good one. That's good to know. As long as you subscribe and
share. You're a good one here, mate. You're a good one here.
Yeah, as long as you hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share about as well to everyone else, and help and give back and help the channel grow a bit quicker. All well and good. It's fantastic. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Yeah. But until then, until tomorrow, which we'll be going live at 7:45, half hour before kickoff. It's 8:15 kickoff.
Yeah,
so we'll come on. Come on, because there'll be so many people on as we mentioned. So we'll go for the lineups, who's happy, who's not, confident. Even talk to the Liverpool fan about his lineup and
have a little chat with him. Yeah.
I know, because he might as well. He's here, so might as well.
Yeah, might as well.
Hopefully, we have a better result though compared to what we had when we had Liam on Daniel's channel.
Oh God, let's not repeat that. Oh fuck it.
But yeah, until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening and see you tomorrow. And until then, up the Arsenal.
Yeah, up the Arsenal.